It looks and feels like it could start pouring any second. We'll see, I guess. And with that in mind, what's going on today? Seems like a lot to do with, I guess, data and security. How about this one? You've all heard on how in the US they're banning Chinese-made drones, specifically companies like DJI, in terms of things like government use. So how about this? It says here they're trying to, I guess, throw lobbyists to reverse everything. This one says, Chinese drone maker lobbies to defeat US national security ban. DJI's share of commercial market has fallen after Donald Trump placed it on entities lists. China's blacklisted DJI is battling to maintain its dominance of the US drone market by lobbying Congress to block a bill barring the federal government from buying its unmanned aircraft. The Shenzhen-based company has hired two lobbying firms, Squire Patent Boggs and the Vogel Group, to persuade members of Congress not to back the American Security Drone Act, which forbids government from buying drones from Chinese firms or others viewed as posing a risk to national security. DJI is one of many Chinese technology companies that has fallen into Washington's crosshairs over security concerns. And I'm guessing they're going to spend a lot of money. It says DJI is working to derail congressional efforts that would hit its business in the US. The ADSA would also prohibit US local law enforcement from using federal grants to buy its drones. According to Open Secrets, which tracks lobbying spending, DJI has spent almost $4 million since the start of 2018. Is that considered a lot for a company the size of DJI? Although this is really fascinating if it's accurate with these numbers in terms of the market share that they've lost ever since, I guess, that rule was put in place. It says, underscoring the pressure on the group, David Bonowitz, head of research at Drone Analysts, said DJI's share of the US commercial market had fallen from 62% in 2020 to 50% last year. Over the same period, Autel, another Chinese drone maker that has come under less scrutiny, has increased its share of the US market from 7% to 9%. It makes you wonder how much of that is due to the fact that they were banning people like DJI, although I wouldn't doubt they would start banning them as well, because technically even Autel is owned by a Chinese company. I know in the US there was a reverse of, I guess, party control, so maybe that's favoring DJI according to this. It says DJI appeared to win an early victory this week when the Democrat-controlled House Rules Committee opted not to include the drone language in the House version of the defense bill. That angered lawmakers, including Michael Gallagher, a Republican who sponsored the drone amendment. And with their point on why they should allow the drones, I don't think this is a really good point considering the circumstance if the argument is security, because it says here, according to emails obtained from a congressional office, DJI's lobbyists argue that its drones are critical for local law enforcement and first responders as they are more advanced and much cheaper than US rivals. But Alexandra Seymour, a technology expert at CNAS, a think tank, said the benefits of the technology were far outweighed by the national security risks. We are trying to protect our technology and innovation. We don't want to create an opportunity for the competition to come in and steal information or survey our critical infrastructure. It is kind of true. If that's the concern where they're being spied upon, it shouldn't matter how cheap or how much better your product is per se in this circumstance. It should be a no-go. Again, if that's the concern with security reasons, so you can't really use that bargain basement value type of argument. Maybe for a consumer, but not in this case, if they say it's a security risk. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Although with that thought in terms of, I guess, security and data, this was kind of interesting because this is a US-based company, and apparently with this, there's reports on how Amazon, where people using their Ring doorbells, where they record video, for example, and they store it on their servers, they can just give it to the police, for example. That's what they say here. It says Amazon admits giving Ring camera footage to police without a warrant or consent. In response to recent questions from Senator Ed Markey, Amazon stated that it has provided police with user footage 11 times this year alone. So imagine that, just using their product, you assume the only way they would ever get access to that information if it's with something like, I don't know, like a warrant or something like that. But according to this, they just fill out a form and they have reasons to believe, hey, it's valid, here you go. That's kind of, I guess, concerning. It says here, police-friendly surveillance subsidiary has long defended its cozy relationship with law enforcement by pointing out that cops can only get access to a camera owner's recordings with their express permission or a court order. But in response to recent questions from Senator Ed Markey Dimas, the company stated that it has provided police with user footage 11 times this year alone without either. Although Ring publicizes its policy of handing over camera footage only if the owner agrees or if a judge signs a search warrant, the company says it also reserves the right to supply police with footage in, quote, emergencies, defined broadly as cases involving imminent danger or death or serious physical injury to any person. Markey had also asked Amazon to clarify what exactly constitutes as an emergency situation and how many times audio-visual surveillance data has been provided under such circumstances. Amazon declined to elaborate on how it defines these emergencies beyond, quote, imminent danger or death or serious physical injury, stating only that Ring makes a good faith determination whether the request meets the well-known standard. And then they note they've done it, 11 times. So it makes you think too, just in terms of companies and what country they're in, virtually so many different people actually track people's data and all that and could use it in, I guess, nefarious ways. You can't get away from it, it seems like anyways. So it makes you wonder, are you ever safe? Doesn't matter what you use. At the same time, I guess it does depend on which country you're on and whose side that company has to favor. That would be the general concern. But either way, it doesn't matter what country you're in or what company, it seems like everyone's doing something with along the same lines of like data tracking and all that, huh? Oh, it's because I know them since they were a baby, and this mom known me since she was a baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. Oh, you're so sweet. Great, I know you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're the duck whisperer.
Alright, see you guys later.